Bishop. We've actually kind of already started talking about a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
Why don't you kind of introduce what you've been doing? Because I know we talked about concierge service,
Yeah.
you switched to media, you're doing a lot of creative stuff.
Yeah.
You have your own podcast.
Yes.
So why don't you just kind of...
Yeah, sure. So my name is Marvel Bishop, originally from New York, Long Island. Been here since about 2009, went to FIU. Pretty much a creative serial entrepreneur. When I first started in 2007, I actually wasn't even really like a entrepreneur at all, honestly. I was actually, photographer and videographer, was definitely like, a content creator, which is focusing on like, just creating like dope content and dope media and dope value. And after that, I'll say maybe about 2000 and maybe 13. That's when I, pretty much started working for Story. I started working for David Grutman. And that's why I did like security, hence me being like 6'11", 350. Yeah. A lot of people get kind of like, whoa, wait, I didn't know he was that damn big, But yeah, so I pretty much, started, the whole security thing at Story for about 3 years. And then I would say in 2014, that's when I actually opened up my first LLC. And that's when I was actually started doing like, photography, videography, and also kind of balancing my life when it comes to that with the nightlife with private security. And then in about maybe 4 years ago, that's when I started my concierge company. So I've pretty much been doing that a while. I kind of call myself, I definitely call myself the ace of all trades. That's kind of like my thing, my niche, because I feel like I'm definitely great at a lot of things that definitely kind of is cohesive with one another. Yeah. So it's not like, like I'm great at like photography and I'm great like at agriculture. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like everything I'm great at definitely like kind of like falls in niche. So.
And so concierge, tell me what that's like.
So the concierge service that I pretty much provide is a high level VIP service for clients that come here to Miami. Pretty much I give them the experience of how to pretty much live and how to experience Miami. We're based out here, but we're also based out in New York. Also, we were talking about Dubai before. I also have a partner in Dubai as well. New York, LA, Atlanta. I just partnered with somebody in Atlanta. LA and as well as Las Vegas. So it's literally anybody that wants any type of service when it comes to cars, yachts, mansions, clubs, private security, pretty much every single sector. And then we try to just, make them not only have a good time, but also feel safe at the same time too. Because there's a lot of people here in Miami, unfortunately, that are like, just like scumbags, you know what I'm saying? Like all they care about is just like the money part and like try to like swindle and try to like get over the clients rather than actually providing them the experience. So yeah, so that's pretty much, one of the things I do for that company as well.
Yeah, and you were saying though, because of the pandemic, that obviously that part of the world kind of shut down.
Yeah.
It kind of shifted now towards more of your media marketing.
Yeah. So let me tell you. So when did the pandemic happen? Pandemic happened what, like the second week of March?
March 11th.
March?
I remember specifically, I went and gave a talk at Miami-Dade College, and then the NBA season shut down. I was like, all right, I guess we're shutting down. And I told my employees, just stay home. And we never opened back up until like September 14th.
Yeah, no, I got it. So the week before the pandemic actually happened was actually the week before Ultra, the week before Winter Music Conference. So not to necessarily get into numbers whatsoever, but like that is probably the second, for my concierge company, the second and third biggest revenue weekend for me in the year. And literally I had like 5 or 6, maybe even 7 clients ready to go, spending a ton of money. And I was ready to give them that experience. And then the pandemic happens. Hey, guess what? We're going to be shutting down. So, thank God for like deposits. That, deposit's always good. Everybody get a deposit if you need to pretty much secure your bag. But that was obviously definitely minuscule. And then the concierge and the nightlife, obviously, and everything else pretty much shut down. And I definitely went into a level of anxiety, like a little bit of depression as well too, which obviously everybody goes through mental health, but I'm huge in mental health as well too. For my podcast, I've definitely had conversations with that. But it got to the point where I was like, damn, I don't know what to do. I'm like, so I had this really successful company, but like I just didn't know how to pivot. So I really thought to myself, I was like, you know what? Let me take a week to really grind and really kind of think and really kind of manifest what I need to do. And then I got this text from like one of my boys. He was like, hey, you know, you're a great person. You're a great entrepreneur. But what you are really great at as well is creativity, is content. Why in God's name did you actually just derive and actually just go away from what you are great at, which pretty much makes you into more of an entrepreneur that you are? That's why I call myself a creative entrepreneur. So I was like, damn, you know what? You're right. So I fired up the photos, I fired up the cameras, I fired up, you know, the Viagra, the cameras and everything else too. And, you know, I just got back into just like creating content. And I started creating content for myself first. And then that's when I realized, like, you know what? Okay. When I had the photo and video business, it was great, but it wasn't to a point where it can be scalable to enough where I can really impact people's lives, especially during this pandemic as well too. Because we are at a point now where, you know, I feel like everybody needs each other. You know, like you can't do everything pretty much by yourself. So I was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to really just dive into like, you know, the outer skirts or like kind of like the more encompassing realm when it comes to content, which is media. So that's when pretty much I started VCB Media, and it's very, very content and it's very, very creative driven. And yeah, that's pretty much, you know, my goals now, because I think my goals right now, man, is that I do not only want to have that experience happen to me again, because a lot of people lost a lot of money, a lot of businesses, a lot of people too. I feel like if you do have a business, you should have an exit strategy, or maybe not necessarily an exit strategy, but more so like a safety net. And your safety net needs to be something where it can actually not only catch yourself, but also catch the people that's around you as well too. So that's why I created the media company, because you know what, like that's something that can definitely be internal, you know?
Yeah. And do you feel like you're gonna still do both, or you're gonna?
Yeah, definitely. It's funny because my personality that I have. First of all, number one, I feel like, you know, you can definitely do everything, but you just can't do it all at once. That's the key. You know what I'm saying? And also too, to do everything that you want to do, you have to have definitely a team. You have to have like a level of an intelligence of delegation to be able to like really, really kind of like, you know, compartmentalize and definitely separate and definitely like, you know, just divide and give the task to certain people that can definitely, you know, pretty much do the job. And that's just me. Like people think that like I'm on like a one-man band man, but I'm not. Like I have a team of like, you know, 10, 15 people when it comes to every single business. I have other businesses as well too, but just to talk about the concierge in the media as well too, I have people in place that I feel like I can definitely empower. And then, you know, for instance, like I was telling you before, like, you know, I have a person just for social media marketing. I just have a person for social media content, video, photo. For my concierge, like I have a director of transportation, a director of security. So I think that's one thing, like I definitely tell like people who like follow me and definitely want some type of advice and guidance is that, you know, you have to learn like the art of delegation. The art of delegation is something that I feel like is not really spoken about, because I feel like entrepreneurs just want to just take the hype and that, you know, like just the, you know, the credit all for themselves. But true entrepreneurs do not worry about themselves, but they actually put on other people and pretty much give them, you know, the position to be empowered to do what they love.
I think one of the hardest things to do is when you start a business and you do it yourself in the beginning, is to make that transition to trust other people to do it, knowing they might make some mistakes, but you can't give them that.
Yeah.
That rope to
But here's the thing though, man. Like, so yes, when people talk to me, or they're like, oh yeah, you know, honestly, like I want to build a business, I want to build a scalable business, I want to have like a 100 or 300 men and women like agency, but I can't trust anybody. I'm like, well, you're never gonna do it. I'm like, no, like if you do not trust people, first of all, here's the thing. I feel like at the end of the day, and this is one thing that I can't really take credit for myself, but I can definitely give credit and cite Gary Vee. At the end of the day, everything is your fault. Yeah. Everything is your fault. Yeah. So guess what? So it doesn't matter if you trust people or not. You know what I'm saying? Even though if you trust people, like, yes, you have to basically, you know, give them that validation to be able to do a job. But you are your last line of defense when you are the number one, when you are the CEO. So That's my mindset.
You have to pick up the slack sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like,
You gotta make sure it still gets done.
yeah, exactly. Because you know what, like, that's for people who say that they don't trust anybody. I do think that is a little bit of a note when it comes to not being really like accountable. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or not wanting accountability. Because it's like, once you put people on, like, you're the person that basically, hired that person. Yeah. So it's like, once you do that, then guess what? Like, that's a reflection on you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Me, I understand that I am like the alpha and the omega when it comes to my companies. So the people who I put on, I understand it's my responsibility to pretty much give them the tools of success. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And so I grew up in an era where, it's kind of the carrot and the stick. Like, I was more motivated by the stick. Like, most of my bosses were like really hard on me and really rough on me.
Got it.
And when I first came into my own business, I took that approach with a lot of people. And people were like, hey, dude, it doesn't work like that. I had to learn how to be more motivational and give more incentives to get people to do what I wanted them to do versus just be a dick.
Yeah, bro.
It's a hard balance.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah. Oh, we can curse? I didn't know we can curse. Oh, what? Okay, cool. I'm like, I'm like, all right. No, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But here's the thing too that I can definitely cite from Gary Vee as well too, is that, bro, like, your employees don't work. Like, you work for your employees. You are the person that provides what you need to provide to pretty much for them to be successful. I tell people all the time, the people that work for me, I'm like, listen, like, yes, I own a company. Yes, I am the CEO. But at the end of the day, I need to pretty much give you what is necessary for you to succeed. Therefore, I work for you. Therefore, you gotta show a level of, because at the end, like, as far as me personally, I'm a very empathetic person. Like, I'm empath at the end of the day. I think that can definitely be a kind of like a gift and a curse. Curse as far as like, like you kind of overthink things a lot, and like sometimes you kind of read the room a little bit too much or whatever. A blessing though, when it comes to being an empath, and especially when it comes to be an entrepreneur, is that you can really, really understand what people are pretty much going through without even like really speaking to them, And I think that's something that's kind of like a fifth sense type of thing, where people, not everybody has it, but that's one of the things I feel like the gifts I have, that God gave me to be able to really connect to, like, not only my clients but also my people who work with me. You know what I'm saying? And that pretty much gives me the tools and actually gives me the driving force to really understand them and work for them to see what I can do for them.
Yeah. I think I have that as well. Not almost on the empath side, but I definitely have a unique ability. This is the reason I feel like I'm good at marketing is I kind of know what people want and need without them asking me for it. And I also know what my clients want and need without them asking. The combination of doing the marketing really helps.
Yeah.
Because I kind of know what they need and I know what their customers
And plus you do your due diligence anyway, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you find out what they need first before, like, and that's the kind of thing I've actually really worked on is just finding out what the clients need and then actually presenting it to them first. And then they'd be like, oh shit, like, wow, this guy knows what the fuck he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? Versus like, okay, what do you need? And then like, the meeting happens is like, okay, we're just wasting time and then have to go back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, time is everything. Like, time is like, so, definitely.
And let's talk about your podcast. Because
Yes.
You have two different podcasts.
Yes. So I have, yes, I do a lot. I know I do. It's kind of crazy, but it's what it is. So the two podcasts I have is the Convos with Bishop, which is kind of like a Joe Rogan type of like one-on-one style, which which hopefully one of these days I'm trying to get you on there. That would be definitely dope. It would definitely be one-on-one style, trying to get to know the person, and like, it doesn't have to be just entrepreneurs, but people who are just like doing dope shit. You know what I'm saying? People who are just like kind of killing in Miami or anywhere else, and how I can definitely bring value to my audience through them, and also try to propel and elevate their brand as well too with my platform. So it's kind of like a wash hand.
Pretty much what I do.
Yes, pretty much same shit.
Just me interviewing people, doing cool stuff in Miami.
Yeah.
Networking, building that.
Yeah.
Network, really.
Definitely. Yeah. And then the other podcast I have, which it's it's definitely unique, man. I feel like it's called the Lab Podcast Series. That one happens maybe once or twice a month, and that's kind of like a round table of different people to talk about different topics. So yesterday, because everybody knows that the election is happening in a few days, and I had a few people come in. And we talked about, Donald Trump and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and pretty much, candidates that's trying to, run for president. The great thing about the Lab Podcast that I love and I feel like nobody else has is that, so the reason why it's a lab is because think about it, chemistry. So chemistry, you have different elements, right? Different H2O. So what does H2O make up? Hydrogen and oxygen, right? Am I right? Okay, cool. Yeah, chemistry wasn't really my forte. So you know what I'm saying? So with those elements, they make water, right? But there's some elements that happen in the periodic table that you can mix, but they combust. That's the same thing when it comes to people. That's the same thing when it comes to, people and different opinions and different values. But at the end of the day, the goal of the Lab Podcast Series is to give people insight and different insights from different people. So say, for instance, when I did the podcast, right? I had a Democrat, I had a Republican, and I had a moderate. Somebody who's like a Republican that's has their views as a conservative, here's a person from a Democrat that's a liberal. It's like, you know what? I'm this way, but I kind of do resonate what this Democrat's talking about. And they actually learn something. So my main goals for the Lab Podcast Series is to find a common goal, a common ground for everybody to be able to learn, because having conversation and, just being very, very... having a conversation definitely.
You're purposely creating opposing views to create
yes,
on various things.
Yes.
The politics.
Yeah. No, it can be pretty much everything. Like for instance, the next episode we're gonna do maybe in 2 weeks, we are actually going to have a conversation on just entrepreneurs who are single.
Okay.
So just entrepreneurs who are single and just kind of because I'm
you're single-ish.
Well, that could be.
But if someone hears me say it, they might be bad.
Well, here's the thing though. That could be the also issue and one of the topics that we can actually happen too. You know what I'm saying? Why are you single-ish? And situationships. But I feel loneliness and being single is a huge little bit of epidemics happening right now in entrepreneurship right now, where a lot of entrepreneurs are not being really understood by their counterparts, or not really understood by people who are not entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I've kind of done both, and I would tell you that sometimes it is easier to be single because you have so much stress. You can't really explain why you're stressed all the time to someone.
Yeah.
You can't really understand.
Yeah.
The anxiety that you.
So can you? So how about this? So can you date what can you date a person that's either a 9 to 5, or does it have to be a girl that has to be an entrepreneur?
No, I usually date girls that love jobs.
Oh my god! All right, fair enough.
Yeah. I don't know. I think if she has a 9 to 5, I think it's probably easier if she just has a structured life.
Mm-hmm. But what if she doesn't understand you though? See, that's the conversation.
I mean, I think it depends. I think if you're a struggling entrepreneur, it's much harder. If you're already successful.
Got it.
He's successful, but he's having a bad day.
Yeah.
But if you're struggling through it and you're a startup, you probably need to be single.
Yeah.
Get a little bit of money
Yeah.
Women don't want to date a guy that they
No.
got it together yet.
No, definitely
They're
not.
looking
Yeah.
for someone who's got it together. So if you're established and you can afford to go to dinners and provide some kind of lifestyle, she'll be way more understanding than if you're just figuring it out. She's not going to understand that period because she's like, I don't get it. You're working every day and you're not.
For somebody to really understand that they have to be entrepreneur.
We're not talking about Wisconsin.
No, definitely not. We're not in fucking South Dakota. Yeah.
So to me, that's what I would say. And I also noticed that if I'm struggling, I tend to distance myself from relationships because I know I need to work through it.
Yeah.
And I don't need the extra stress.
Yeah. But then what happens though is that I feel say for instance, for me, right? Right now I'm pretty much going through what I pretty much need to go through, right? I mean, I'm not a startup anymore, but obviously we still have our growing pains, right? Yeah,
6 months.
exactly. Well, honestly, honestly, tell you the truth, low key, I feel like a startup again, honestly, because of the pandemic. I feel like everything is ground zero again, but it is what it is. But so I feel like what do men do when they're entrepreneurs? Do they find the woman first?
What did 21 Savage say? They don't build, they just move in.
Yeah.
Women don't build, they just move in.
Yeah. Nah, I hear you. But you need to find a woman. That's what I'm saying. But the thing is, though, like not everyone's like that. You need to find a woman that can build with you, right? So if you find a woman that can build with you, that can be great. But then if you don't find that woman first and you actually build without that woman, and then you try to find somebody, it's like, oh man, you only want me for my fucking money. Like, see, that's the.
We're getting into some like serious topic.
Yeah.
For me, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
That way, because I initially only like her because how she looks. Mm-hmm. So we're both gonna start on a very superficial.
Got it.
It's gonna last long term if she actually likes me and actually like her. So the initial attraction is gonna be you're successful. I think you can provide me with a certain lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Hot. I want to have sex with you. Mm-hmm. Therefore, we're gonna start there. If you like
Yo, Will is funny. You're funny, bro.
Let's keep doing it.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm not offended if a girl, if I know that's her initial attraction, because I'm only basing on how she looks anyway.
Yeah.
So we're both starting from the same superficial.
And honestly, here's another thing too is that I feel like the common denominator for everything right now is the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So guess what? Just fucking worry about yourself. Just know your worth, king. Just and queen too. Because there's all obviously entrepreneur women as well too. Like I feel as of right now, the pandemic is a reset and it's kind of like a recalibration of everything. And especially for me, not only just business-wise, but also like, personally as well too. Life-wise too, So it's like, for me, I'm like, you know what? Let me just focus on what I need to do. And then I can worry about everything else later.
My advice to anyone, not that I'm at a level where I can say, I've made it, but I've made enough in my life to know that you have to go through periods where you just put your head down and work.
Yeah.
And especially if you're in business for yourself, like you provide for all these people, you give service to all these other people, you have to see that bigger vision of like, hey, I got to provide for all this. Like, I don't need personal relationship. That's what you sacrifice by being the guy.
Yeah.
By being the man. If you're the best on the team, you probably make sacrifices that the players don't make.
Yeah.
They're in the gym.
Being the number one, man, can be very, very lonely, bro. Like, it is what it is. Like,
Usually what I do is I go through runs where I make a lot of money, I meet a girl, she takes it, I lose it, and I start again. It's a cycle. It's a never-ending cycle. This is my cycle of life.
I got you.
I'm not a billionaire yet.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Hey, I mean, can't live with them, can't live without them, right? So, but yeah, man, it's pandemic is definitely something that like I feel like we all learned from, and we can pretty much take off of a something where like we could pretty much grow from. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, as of right now, I'm single. I'm just trying to figure it out, and I kind of got a reminder actually last week Friday. It's like, you know what, you need to focus on yourself.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I was going out.
When you have other people that work for you, there's always that pressure of you got to make sure it's right for them, and then then it's for you, and then you get to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But so far it's a great episode. Is there anything else that maybe I didn't ask that you want to mention, talk about?
Man, no, I'm just happy to be here, honestly, man. I'm just, hopefully this episode and, that can definitely bring value to you, to your group. I think if we need to wrap, so we're gonna wrap up. Okay, cool. Yes. All right. So obviously, like I said, my name is Marvel Bishop, Mr. No Wave It Up, the Master of Delegations, the Ace of All Trade, the Walking Icebreaker. That's pretty much like kind of like my mantra. You can follow me on Instagram at Marvel Bishop, at Marvel Bishop everywhere. For the concierge service is Bishop Exec Services. That's on IG. And the media company is V as in Victor, C as in Charlie, B as in Boy Media. And that's on all platforms.
Awesome.
My man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Can't wait to do it again.